Now I want. No, don't. Hang on. Skip. So I want to pause this. I want to view all scenes. No. End scene. Studio logos. Trivia. General trivia. Goofs. Okay, cool. It's got a list of all the trivia. Okay, that's cool. Excellent. Okay, so I want to. Is that ended by itself? No, it hasn't. So I want to end that manually. Go over to Twitch, end that manually, and yeah, I'm gonna end that manually, and yeah, that'll be that. Now, so yeah, this is just chatting now. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to bring up this. Capture cursor, ability capture, capture similar windows, no. So, do that. So let's go to my capture. Right, so let's go from here. Because yeah, this is very interesting. I want to do this. I want to read these off. Because these are I like to I'm very interested in the trivia of this movie. So to start with, so the gun that Game Warden Muldoon uses is an Italian Frenchy Sparus 12, a commonly used gun in films due to its aesthetic modern appearances. Steven Spielberg kept the gun after the production ended. It is part of his very large private gun collection, and he had many stars sign it. Wow, many of the stars sign it. Wow, that's really cool. When he invites guests to his home in Beverly Hills, he lets them shoot it. Oh, so it's an actual live gun. Interesting. Um, Universal Pictures paid Michael Crichton $2 million for the rights to his novel before it was even published. Wow, that's very interesting. So it wasn't even published yet when they made this movie. That's fascinating. Um, the crew or equipment visible at around 2 minutes. So it's got the timestamps here, down the bottom here. And scene 2, for example, when the gatekeeper falls off the top of a cage, a crew member's hand stops the stuntman from hitting the camera. Wait, is that true? You can actually see it on the scene? That's hilarious. If so, if it actually stayed in the movie, that's really funny. Um, Continuity error. After falling to the ground, Madoon reaches to save the gatekeeper twice. Oh, that's a. Oh wow, that's pretty bad. Um, Continuity error at around 3 minutes. While Muldoon is on the ground attempting to save Joffrey's life, his hat is missing. But when he gives the order to shoot the raptor, the hat mysteriously appears on his head. Wow. This is I love continuity errors. They're so fun. Um, Laura Linney auditioned for the role of Ali Sadler. Interesting. So Laura Italy. Interesting. Um, Steven Spiel Steven Spielberg considered hiring Bob Gurr to do the full size dinosaurs because he was impressed with his apes or in the confront confrontation. That's a good little pun. Right at Universal Studios. Okay, cool. So again, this was back in the 90s, I want to say. Yeah, 1993. Um, yeah, so um, Steven Spielberg and Michael Clinton first met over 2 decades earlier when Spielberg gave Crichton a tour of Universal Studios during the production of the Andromeda Strain, 1971. Okay, so um, I've got no idea what the Andromeda Andromeda Strain is. So yeah, what is that? Probably something old. Continuity error. When Ali, Allen, and the rest of the people were digging up the raptor skeleton, um, the camera shows a black bone during a close-up shot, but when the camera zooms out a full body shot of the skeleton, there is no black bone. Really? See, this is stuff that's like split second. You don't even notice it. Um, so this movie and the book generated so much interest in dinosaurs that the study of paleontology has had a record increase in students back in the day. I'm again assuming this is back in the day, or even to this day, I guess. Um, Dr. Alan Grant was modeled after the paleontologist Jack Horner, who, like Grant, digs and teaches in Montana, and was also a technical advisor for this on this movie. Huh, really? Again, I've got no idea who Jack Horner is, but yeah, that's fascinating. Um, so Dr. Dr. Alan Grant was at least two dinosaur models from the 1988 Panaji collection, the original green color Tyrannosaurus rex, and the adult Apatosaurus. That's That's general trivia. Really? Oh, we got a character error here. So, as Dr. Grant lectures the cynical boy about at the digging site about a velociraptor, he says that the velociraptor's claws used to evol- eviscerate and tear its victims apart as opposed to going for the neck like many of today's predators. So this is a character error for Velociraptor, I'm guessing. The fossilized remains of a Velociraptor caught in a feud with its prey clearly showed a Velociraptor. Oh yeah. This is a animal error. Okay, so clearly showed the Velociraptor stabbing the prey in the neck, claw. The truth about Killer Dinosaurs 2005 also conducted an experiment to see if the claw could eviscerate flesh. It could. Wow. So that's a huge Velociraptor era. Wow. Um, so continuity at around 8 minutes. So continuity error. When Dr. Grant is describing the attack patterns of velociraptors to the boy in Montana, his index fingers change from being right next to each other to a few inches apart between shots. Huh. Eh, put that more down to a actor error than continuity. But that's fine. Continuity error. When Grant approaches his trailer at the dig site, the hinge is on the right, but he stops inside the hinge on the left. Ooh. So that's saying the hinge is supposed to be on this side, but when he steps inside, the hinge is on this side. Huh. I never noticed that. So, general trivia, the clipping on the fringe Grant's trailer read, basically stole my face and dinosaurs on Mars. So that's basically install my face and dinosaurs on Mars are references to like old and alien movies, horror movies, and stuff like that. That's actually really cool. Um, Community era when Grant enters the trailer, the hatchet on his belt disappeared. So the hatchet, as in, so a hatchet is like an axe. The blade like that, and then the handle's like a curved in instead of a straight, like a normal axe. The normal axes have like have a normal um straight handle, but then but no, your hatchet. The difference between an axe and a hatchet is the the head is like smaller. Notice the head is like a bit bigger for a normal axe, and then your handle's like curved. So you so a little fun fact is you use a hatchet more for wood cutting than um what you would do for like um normal axe, which is like a straight, for more of a overhead type of um swing. Or more of a side swing, I think. A hatchet's more for over the head because you got your hand here, which is more for support. Yeah. Because I used to use a hatchet to cut wood with my grandfather. Um. Okay, so continuity error. Scene in the trailer, Hammond is drying the glass with a towel in one shot. Um, and in the next shot, the towel is a completely new one, evident to the changing color. I think I did actually notice that one. Um, so in around 10 minutes, another continuity error is. Oh, these are out of order. That's weird. So in the trailer champagne scene, the amount of dust on Grant's forehead changes between shots from 1/4 covered to fully covered, back to 1/4, and then finally none. Wow. So they couldn't really keep the continuity between dust that was on Grant. Wow. Um, Error in geography. Oh yeah, I think I read this one out. Um, yeah, I read this out while I was while I was doing the commentary. Yeah, that's that one. Um, the bag of money Nedry is holding disappears between shots when Dog Dodson shows him the canister. Wow, Donson. Donson, we got Donson here. um, so another continuity error is when Dennis Nedry checks the shaving cream canister diversion safe. He places a cream on a pie. In the next shot, his hand is completely clean of cream before he wipes his hand. Yeah, that makes sense. Dr. Grant clearly isn't wearing uh, a watch when the helicopter ride on during the helicopter ride to the island, but is wearing one when they land and for the rest of the film. Wow, that's a pretty big continuity error actually. It's just like, where'd you get that watch from? Who knows? Maybe Ali gave it to him for during the trip. Who knows? Um, General trivia. Ooh, about Jeff Goldblum. Okay. Okay, interesting. So Ian Malcolm, dresses entirely in black for this movie and in the Lost World Jurassic Park, 1997. Um, in the book, he tells Ali Sadler that he only ever dresses in black and grey, so that he never has to waste time thinking about what to wear. Um, Seth Brandel, um, Seth Brandel gives the same reason for his monotonous fashion sense in by 1986. Um, an idea that and an idea that Brandel got from Albert Einstein. Fair enough. That actually fits with the character Alan in Malcolm, because it's just like chaos theory would be very close to like the stuff that Albert Einstein was studying and stuff like that, and what he invented. So that makes a lot of sense. Got a continuity error during the helicopter ride. Hammond puts his back obviously towards the front and is sitting on the left side. Then Ian Malcolm is across from him when De Niro is next to Malcolm. Um, when the helicopter lands, you can also spot a lot of these continuity errors as you're watching the movie. So it's really interesting. If you know, once you know what to look for, you can spot all these continuity errors all the time. So when he lands, Dr. Hammond is on the right side with De Niro went across from him. So yeah, they swap places basically. Very interesting. Um, so this was filmed in Hawaii instead of Costa Rica. So we've got the Manawai no Pata Falls. The I'm sorry if I butcher that. And the Hunana Pai Pai Valley, EP Valley, um, Kauai, Hawaii. Again, I'm really sorry if I butcher that. But yeah, that the point is that the Lawai, Hawaii, Hawaii, and yeah. Oh, we're gonna have a continuity error when the helicopter is descending. Um, onto the island, the cars are already beside the landing pad. As the scientists get out, the cars are shown to be backing up from the pad. to the pad. Oh wow, that's a big one. Um, so briefly held the box office record when it was beaten by Titanic. That makes sense because Titanic was pretty big. Um, in this movie, it was Steven Spielberg directs the man who beat him to the Best Director Oscar in 1983. So Richard Attenborough, whose movie was Gantai, 1982. Also beat Spielberg's E.T. 1982 as the Best Picture. So yeah, Richard Attenborough was the voice. Attenborough was the voice of was the actor of um, Dr. Hammond. Rest in peace. I believe he's passed away now. And yeah. So we're going to have a continuity error. When the two jeeps are approaching the Brachiosaurus, Hammond instructs his driver to instantly stop the jeep, to which the driver complies, halting the vehicle. The shot then changes to the first car we can see Hammond's car is still moving. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I noticed that one. And even though we heard and saw it stop in the previous shot, yeah, yeah. Um, so the sounds made by the Brachiosaurus were a combination of wow and donkey sounds. Um, yep, that's true. These are all true. Um, the release strategy was planned 15 months before the studio had a chance to see a frame of the movie. Really? That's kind of a bad practice. Ooh, a revealing mistake. So when he so when he first learns that there's a T-Rex on the island, Dr. Grant has a grass stain on his pants before he sits on the grass. Oh, I would not have noticed that. That is so subtle. That's so subtle and interesting. Okay. Um. So another a continuity error is as Alan Grant gazes at the herd of Brachiosaurus. I think I read this one. At the herd of Brachiosaurus, he's sitting on the ground between Ali Sadler. I didn't say this one, but I did read it. Ali Sadler and John Hammond, but in a reverse angle shot showing the three characters in the foreground, the dinosaurs are in the distance. Ali is standing between Dr. Hammond and Dr. Grant. So wait, hang on. So is it sitting between? Oh, they swapped again. They swapped positions. So um, I have a fork. So no, it is. So what this is saying is um so what this is saying is when he's sitting down, he's in the middle here between Ellie and Doc and Hammond. But then in the reverse angle shot, he's um Ellie is here. Hang on. Ellie is here when they do this. So Ellie, um, Grant, and Hammond. But then in the reverse shot, um, It's been Hammond is here, then Grant, then Ellie's here. Interesting. Yeah, I think I did notice that too. When the group is walking up to the front door of the visitor center, the stone on top of the entrance exceeds the bottom of the roof, but in the subsequent close-up shot, the stone entrance is smaller with sheets of grass and straw behind it. Wait, huh? Okay, I can't show this. I can't show this. I can't show the scene obviously, but I want to see this real quick. Really? So really? Hold on. So front door of the visitor center, the stone atop stone top of the entrance. Huh? So the stone. I'm trying to figure this out. So at the beginning, this when the group is walking up to the front door of the visitor center, stone top of the entrance exceeds the bottom of the roof. Is it talking about the bottom layer? But subsequent close-up shot stone entrance is smaller. Oh! Oh, it's talking about this. Okay, so I think I can show this. I think because I've got it paused, I think I can show this. Nope, it can't. I can't. This screen's black. Okay, that's good to know. So I can't show it, but what I was talking about is when you're watching the scene, there's a stone entrance when they're approaching, but as they do the close-up shot, the entrance is much smaller. Interesting. Okay, go back to the go back to the I go back to the yes I can. Awesome. So that's interesting. Uh sheets of glass straw behind it. Interesting. So 38 minutes as the forward explorers arrive at the visitor center in a long shot. You see Lex walk to the front explorer. Then in a close-up shot through the windows of the front explorer, you see her walk up to. Oh, you can see her walk up to the explorer twice. Okay, that's kind of funny. Oops. Um, we got some trivia. So Dr. Malcolm's quip that Sadler and Grant's jobs are extinct is a quote from um, a puppeteer, Bill Tippett. Pet, said to Steven Spielberg when he decided to use the CGI and not go motion, but put it in the movie as a joke. Okay. Yeah, I think I do remember. I think I do remember that being mentioned in like a documentary and stuff like that. Because I watched the behind the scenes and documentaries and all that sort of thing. And yeah, that was one of the jokes that was mentioned. So that's very interesting. Um, so there were two animatronic T Rexes, Tyrannosauruses, built for filming. One was the full body version, which yeah, I did see in the behind the scenes, and the other only consisted of a head, which was used for like close up shots. Very interesting. Um, so oh, we got a factional error here. So mosquito that is encased in amber, which from which the DNA sample was being extracted, is male. This is evident from the bushy look of the antenna. Female mosquitoes have far fewer hairs on their antenna, so the distinction is easily made. Only females drink blood. Oh! I did not know that. Holy crap. Really? So only females drink blood as it is needed to produce eggs. There would not be any dinosaur DNA in a male to extract. To make it worse, that species of mosquito, Toxi rhynchastatus, bo- both the males and females are flower feeders and would therefore have no blood at all, or or any dinosaur DNA in their stomachs. Wow, that's a huge mistake. We just need a mosquito. Just put this in. Interesting. I want a drink. Getting a bit. My tongue's getting a bit dry. How long have we been going? 3.5 hours. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, I'm just chatting now. So I think what I'm going to do is yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Cool. I don't want to say it, but I know what I'm going to do for editing. When I do this for Twitch, when I do it a highlight for this Twitch, I know what I know what I want to do. So yeah. Oh. Ooh. More trivia. Michael Benton's agents accumulated the book to 6 studios and circulated the book to 6 studios and directors. Warner Brothers wanted it for Tim Burton to direct, while Columbia Pictures was planning it for Richard Donner. 20th Century Fox was also interested and was intended the project for Joe Dante. While Universal Pictures wanted Steven Spielberg to direct. Crichton was reluctant to submit to a bidding war, so he instructed his agents to put a set price on the film rights, and he could decide who was more likely to actually get the film made. After interviewing After interviewing all the prospective directors, he agreed to sell the rights to Universal and Steven Spielberg, who was already his first choice. Wow. Asshole. So does this actually... No, it doesn't. Okay. So I'm guessing these are all the directors. So in order, maybe? So Tim Burton. Um, no, that'd be Richard Donner. Joe Dante. Still was... That's Steven Spielberg. I know that. I actually click these? No, it doesn't seem like it. I don't want to click them because it'll take me off this page. Okay, so in the movie theater, when Hammond clicks his remote to lock the restraints in place, only the bars in the front row moves. In the next shot, all three rows are locked down. Ooh, interesting. Oh, hey, more Jeff, Jeff Goldblum. Um, Actually, I'm gonna turn that cooler off. It's getting a bit too chilly in here. Jesus, cold. Alright, so... How are we looking? That's pretty good. So, despite his prominent billing, B.D. Wong has less than 2 minutes of screen time. He is, however, the only cast member of this movie to reprise his role in Jurassic World. Wong and Jeff Goldblum reprised their roles in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom 2018. In 2022, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, and B.D. Wong joined Chris Pratt and Bryce Douglas Howard for the Dominion. Yeah, I know about that. So I haven't seen... So I haven't seen Dominion yet, but I do know all the actors are coming back for it. So what I'm doing is, as of right now, um, I'm working myself up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stream watch parties for each movie. I don't know if I'll do them on Twitch again, because this has kind of been a pain in the ass. Because I gotta go. Here's the thing: I gotta go from... Doing it on YouTube might be a bit more of a pain in the ass, actually. I don't know. I don't know how I would do it on YouTube. I've been doing it on Twitch at the moment now because it's just way fucking easier compared to like YouTube, because YouTube's live streaming system is so arse. It's like you gotta go, because they don't have a studio for live streaming. They've got like a thing for you to go live, but then the rest of your thing has to go through an encryption program, which for me that's OBS, but I'm not well versed in OBS, so it's just like everything I do in OBS would be live, and I wouldn't be able to edit any of it. for a feasible file size. Because yeah, with the main issue with OBS is once you start a stream or recording, there's no pausing. It's just all one video. Otherwise, you have to like do separate videos and then crunch them together in a separate program, which I've done before. So that's why I haven't been using OBS yet for any of my live streams. Because I did. That's not true. I did a. This was back in 2016, 2015. I did a live stream of Toss the Turtle, and because I wanted to set a world record for Toss the Turtle, and I did, and I watched the live stream back again. Someone told me this. I don't even know if I had any viewers for it, but when I watched the video back, there was no audio at all. It's just a completely silent video. It's still up on my channel, because why the fuck not? But there's no audio to it. And all that audio that I did for that video, because I did actually talk for it, is completely lost thanks to OBS being a complete dickhead. Because yeah, I checked all the settings, I made sure everything was being recorded, but when it came down to the actual live stream, nothing was there. There was no audio. So yeah, that was a big pain in the ass. And I don't know what I did wrong. That's just it. I still don't know what I did wrong. So yeah, I've sworn off. I've sworn off OBS live streaming ever since. I actually prefer the Twitch live streaming because it's actually really nice. It's nice and simplified, and I don't have like 1,000 fucking things to worry about, unlike OBS. But yeah. So okay, so we're going to have a continuity error here. So during the introduction, right, it is shown and explained how dinosaurs are made. You hear the recorded voice saying the genetically engineered dino DNA is put into an unfertilized ostrich eggs. But moments later, we see a baby velociraptor hatching from what appears to be an actual dinosaur egg. Really? Wait, really? Up to that scene. Again, you're not going to see anything because it's funny like that. I might even go back to chat if I don't show anything. Introduction ride. So really, Oh, it's right. So I believe that's an ostrich egg painted white. But um so so going back to the trivia here. Um but um so you hear the recorded voice saying "Danger, ostrich eggs," but moments later we see oh yeah, baby velociraptor being hatched from what appears to be an actual dinosaur egg. Now, I just watched that scene back, and they seem to be holding what looks to be the size of an ostrich egg, um, but it's pure white. So a little fun fact about ostrich eggs is they're a giant black and greenish colored egg. They're not white. They're like a blackish green. I could be thinking of an emu egg, but yeah, they're I think they're blackish green. Hang on, I want to get my facts straight here. Let's see. Oh no, that they are showing an ostrich egg. Okay. I must be thinking of an emu egg. Yeah, I am. Yeah, there's your emu egg. Yeah. So yeah, I'm getting my birds mixed up. Sorry. But yeah, emu egg. Um, emu eggs are quite big, and then you got your ostrich eggs, which are quite large. Um, your ostrich egg is probably the biggest egg you'll ever see in your life. So that's what they used for a placeholder. Um, Here in Australia, we've got both emus and ostriches. Emus are very, very territorial, very protective of their kids. Whereas ostriches, you look at them funny and they'll charge you, basically. But yeah, that's very interesting. I I was thinking the wrong egg, but yeah. Um, so we've got a bit of trivia. So according to Filoni artist um, Danny Rope, um, the sounds of the hatching baby dinosaurs were created by a combination of crushing ice cream cones, eggshell breaking, um, squishing cantaloupe, melon halves, the embryonic emergence, goose smearing pineapple skin, the dinosaur egg, the dinosaur flesh clean, and cleansing. Interesting. That's very, very interesting. So we've got a continuity error here. When the Velociraptor egg is first hatching, robotic armor, robotic arm is holding it in place, but in the next shot, the armor is not seen. Yeah, that's true. I did notice that. Much of the behavior seen in the movie is based on modern wild animals, which is since little was known in the actual behavior of dinosaurs. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, God, you know what? I will be right back. I'm gonna go grab the actual bottle of water I've got. Alright. Fuck off, insect. I'm gonna squish you. I swear to God, if you come near me, I'm gonna squish you. Don't do it. I swear to God. Come near me, I'm gonna fucking squish you. Good. Off. Alright, so that's a bit. So I gotta water here. There's not much in it, but it'll do. So, continuity. So we've got a continuity error here. We see John Hammond picking up a piece of eggshell to the hatching egg, but it's in a subsequent shot. There are two pieces lying down where that weren't there before. Ooh. Okay, so trivia here, and I think I actually noticed trivia. So this movie cut out many species of dinosaur that were featured in the novel for budgetary and technological reasons. One of those was a small chicken-sized dinosaur called the Procompus Icvitus, Compies, which made an appearance in The Lost World. And I do not care if I butcher that name. That is a very hard name to say. Which did make an appearance in Lost World. Will explains their reason for having this creature. Was dinosaur excrement. He presumes would have been biodegradable during the Cenozoic era. However, in modern day, bacteria have evolved to the point where it is no longer able to break down. I fucking knew it. Where'd you go? Fuck off. Fucking bug. Where was I? I lost my place. However, in modern day, bacteria have evolved to a point where it's no longer able to break down dinosaur waste. And the larger dinosaurs produce quite a lot of it. Compies, as they were nicknamed, eat the other dinosaur's waste and then poop it themselves in smaller piles, which are easily broken down by present day bacteria. The lack of compies in the movie may explain the mountains of poop that Ellie finds. That's cold. In the egg hatching scene, newborn baby Triceratops was originally supposed to come out of the egg, but it was changed to a velociraptor. Aww, I would have liked to see a baby Triceratops. It would have been cute. Okay, so crew or equipment visible. So around 32 minutes. When the raptors are being fed for the viewing of the visitors, a crew member's white shirt can be clearly seen and shaking in the leaves in the pit. That'd be a cute one. That'd be a cute one to try and find. So have a continuity error. The viewing platform for the raptor compound is bare until Modoons shows up. As he makes it up to the stairs, he begins talking with Grant. You can see that they are standing on something red. Wait, really? Compound is Bear. Huh. Interesting. So, as the movie was released in Costa Rica, local fear local theater owners scratched and blurred the San Jose tag during this scene when Nedry awaits for his contact in what supposedly was the country's capital because the local audience reacted negatively to inaccuracies in the scene's geography. Oh, that's very interesting. That's wow. Wow, that's very interesting. Okay. Oh, we've got a revealing mistake. Okay, interesting. There is an absence of blood and a shredded harness used to hold the cow after it's been fed to the raptors. Oh, that's true. I never noticed that. That's true. Despite the level of violence of the feeding scene. Oh, I never noticed that. Yeah, because yeah, when they lift the harness up. So, hang on. So as they're lifting the harness up, there should be blood on this section here, where the metal is, and this section here, where the other side of the metal is, and there should be blood on the fabric of the harness, but there's no blood at all. It's completely clean. Wow, that's very interesting. Um. Oh, we got 2 revealing mistakes in a row. Wow. So during lunch, the characters eat in a round room with projectors displaying slides of the opposite wall around the room. Oh, the dinners and wait staff would be in the projector beams, but cast no shadows on the screens. The images are obviously a rear projection. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's true. So that's very true because like you'd think, oh, you've got waiters and staff members going throughout the room. The projection would have their shadows in that, but no, there's no shadows. Which for a rear projection you would have people going across the shadows in that, but no, it's a perfect projection. I even spoke about the projection, so yeah, that's very interesting. Oh, we got a bit of trivia halfway. So Steven Spielberg delayed the beginning of the film by several weeks to get the cast he wanted. First, he allowed Sir Richard Attenborough to finish post production on Chaplin 1992 before committing to this movie. He also waited until Sam Neill could finish filming Family Pictures. Neill ended up only having a weekend off between that movie and starting this one. Oh, that is not enough time to prepare. Wow. So, we've got a continuity error. During lunch, when Hammond explains to Gennaro that the park isn't just for super rich, Hammond's hands change position between shots. Is that really a continuity error? Because your hands are not going to stay in one place. Like if I do this and then suddenly my hands are like this in the next shot, that you're not going to keep your hands like this. You want to do you if you're very hand so if you're a very gesturable person, your hands are going to keep doing different things. They're not going to stay in one position the whole time, and that's very true of Hammond. Because if you watch Hammond, he's a very expressive person with his hands. Like he's always pointing, or he's always doing this, or he's always um doing that kind of thing. Like he's very he's very expressive with his hands. That's just part of his character. So I don't see that as a continuity error. But some general trivia. Sean Connery was offered the role of John Hammond based on his performance as Professor Henry Jones Sr. in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Wow! I did not know The Last Crusade was that old. He turned it down. Really? That would have been an interesting cast. To be honest, um I like the older rendition of John Hammond anyway. I like him being an old man rather than this young person version. Mm. Actually, Doctor Henry Jones, was he old? Um. Oh, I can't. Doctor Jones. See if I can get it up. I want to look at that. Jones. Oh, he was an old man. Okay. Nah, I like the current version of Hammond better. Nah. I got some trivia. Okay, cool. Oh, we got a lot of trivia. Oh, wow. So the movie marked the climax of the dinosaur renaissance, a groundbreaking scientific revolution that lasted from the 1960s to the early 1990s. Um, during which dinosaurs went from being seen as sluggish, dim-witted, and cold-blooded reptiles to the agile, intelligent, and warm-blooded animals depicted in this movie. It is also presented to a new kind of visual design of the dinosaurs to the public. Much of this can be traced back to the works of paleontologist John Ostrom, who first realized the uniqueness of raptor dinosaurs. Robert Becker, Jack Horner again, the voice of Alan Grant, the Alan Grant was based on, and in the movie, and in virtually every other piece of work created at this time, were based on recreations originally made by Greg Paul. Newest scientific findings have, however, proven that these to be incorrect, which has led to the coining of the term shrink-wrapped dinosaurs. Interesting. As uh, many of Paul's recreations, and by extension Jurassic Park dinosaurs, look like dinosaur skeletons coated in muscle and skin, but virtually no other soft tissue. Interesting. So, okay. So William Hurt was turned down his role for Dr. Grant without even looking at the book or script. Huh. So he just straight up wasn't interested. Huh. Interesting. Um. Okay, that's an actor trivia. That doesn't really matter. It's got nothing to do with Jurassic Park. That's just an actor trivia. It's got nothing to do with Jurassic Park. Oh, we've got a goof. Crew or equipment visible. Okay. The video cameras are in front of the steering wheel in the forward Explorer are actually supposed to be for the audience to see at the windshield. Even on the front bumper guard, there are video cameras probably used for crew members. To drive the vehicle from behind the back seat. When the camera zooms up to the main Jurassic Park gate, there is clearly a tiny camera on top of the driver's side of the windshield panel. Ian literally found this camera out after the people were looking at the Jurassic Park paddock. Go away! Um, so merely 3 years after the movie wrapped, it was discovered that many carnivorous dinosaurs are mostly or fully feathered, and some actual wings rather than arms, implying that Dr. Grant was right. They share a common ancestor with birds. Smaller relative of the velociraptor called the Microraptor, discovered in 2000, had 4 wings, using its front limbs to glide between trees, while the other wings on its legs acted as a sort of rudder. Evidence of modern bird-style wing feathers on velociraptors were described in 2007. Scientists, however, have already suspected that raptors had feathers well before the movie was made. Paleontologist and artist Gregory Paul, whose scientific ideas inspired the Jurassic Park novel, illustrated raptors with feathers in the mid 1980s. In the book, the Maiasaura hatchlings, which were not included in the film, also had fluffy feathers. The Tyrannosaurus, on the other hand, caused a lot of debates as its ancestors and distant relatives were definitely covered in primitive fluff-like feathers, but no physical evidence exists for the T-Rex itself having fuzz. Scientists think it either lost the need for feathers or it was feathered when young and gradually shed them as it grew. That is very interesting. So I'm very interested in the Microraptor here. I'm very interested in that. So, Microraptor. Oh, interesting. So, me a full image. Oh, that's very interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. Also creepy. Because we don't see any animals like that here anymore. So animals were very different back in those days. Factional error. Okay. Oh, that's true. Interesting. So factional error. In the first, to summarize, the first scene where the board explorers pull up, Mr. Hammond is bragging about the cars, saying that because they're on the track, um, there's no need for seatbelts on the vehicle because there's no traffic collisions. Um, but when the T Rex flips the Explorer over, the kids don't fall from the seats because they were wearing some sort of restraints anyway. So yeah, it's a very big oversight. Oh, I see a familiar face there. So after Joseph, when Zero was turned down for the role of Jack Banning in Spielberg's Hook, being too young, Spielberg told Zero that he still impressed with his audition and would try to cast him for a future project. Um, and Zero was then cast as Tim in this movie. So that's interesting. And then, as Manzero recalls, Stephen had me screen test for Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman for Hook in 1991, but I was just too young for the role. Because of that, Stephen came up to me and said, "Don't worry about Joey. I'm going to get you in a movie this summer." So, not only a nice promise to get, but to have it actually be one of the biggest box office smashes of all time. That was a pretty good trade. Um, Joey's casting led Spielberg to reverse the ages of the children, as he decided that casting a girl younger than Joey would be too young and be placed in danger. Lex was therefore made to be the older child and the computer expert as well. Then Michael Crichton's original novel in the original novel, Tim is older and is both the dinosaur and computer enthusiast. Okay, so they swapped roles there. Um, not crew. Oh, we got a crew and equipment visible. Oh, okay. So when Dr. Grant and Tim are choosing which car to sit in, the visitor says two stage lights can be seen reflecting in the car door. Ooh, I'm kind of tempted to see if that's true. I mean, obviously it's true, otherwise it wouldn't be here. But okay, so when getting an update on a storm, Hammond says, why didn't I build in Orlando? The distributor Universal Studios has two theme parks there. One of them is the Island of Adventure, has a Jurassic Park themed area and rides. This line may have been a subtle reference to Disney World, as Bridton intended Hammond to be a darker version of Walt Disney. Interesting. Okay. How far am I? Ooh, 4 hours. So clearly I can't go through all the trivia, but that's okay. I kind of want to. I kind of feel like I should be able to. The computer in the back of the computer room with the many um, red LEDs is a real computer. The connection machine 5 made by thinking machines. It contained many processors, and the LEDs were added to make the machine more aesthetically pleasing than their previous models. Unfortunately, it was not actually very good. It was not actually a very good supercomputer, and the company failed not long afterwards. The comment about networking eight connection machines is pretty superstitious, as they were meant to be used like this. The bigger problem was writing programs that efficiently map out onto um, data parallel architecture. Now, okay, yeah. So, I know nothing about networking. I know nothing about programming. But yeah, even back then, programming and networking were pretty pretty big deals. Um, the internet didn't officially start up until like um, 1998, I want to say 1996 maybe. But yeah, at that point, I'd already been fully invested into computers, and my school had Windows 98 computers that I used to type on and view um, view like websites and stuff on. So yeah, very interesting stuff. So according to Dan Sunday, Thinking Machines Corp, the supercomputer used in the control room was one of two only ever built to that size. 1,024 nodes. The other machine was at Los Alamos. A machine used in the movie was sold in smaller segments after the scenes were complete. Mirrors were used to make it seem like the more. Oh, interesting. So they used mirrors to make it look like there was more um, supercomputers in the room than there was. Interesting. Um, so, oh, this is one I pointed out. Oh, yeah, I know about this. Because yeah, I pointed this out during the commentary. So in the novel, they proudly say, "Oh, um, Richard Kennedy's the voice, pre-recorded factor voice," um, and they actually did hire Richard Kennedy as the role of the movie, which was the first instance of a celebrity appearing in a book, and then later cast as him or herself in the movie version. This feat was not repeated in 2009 when boxer Paolo Roberto played himself in the movie version of The Girl Who Played with Fire. He too was already previously featured as a character in the book. Huh, interesting. Blue Hole. Okay, so that's the film location. Connections. References to King Kong was made in the Jurassic Park gates. Yep. Juggling. Yep, juggling wonders if. We've got a character error. Okay, so in the scripted audio tour, the narrator refers to the Dilophosaurus as poisonous, when in fact the methods of toxin spitting or biting it when it is actually venomous. Fuck off. You fuck off. Thank you. So hold on. Dilophosaurus as poisonous. Oh, wait. What's the difference between poisonous and venomous? What's the difference? I'm actually curious now. Oh, cool. Oh. What's the difference between venomous and poisonous? So, okay, so to be poisonous, it has to be ingested or licked to cause harm. So, a venom is a specialized type of poison that has evolved for a specific purpose. It is actively injected via a bite or sting. Huh. Yeah, so poisonous has to be ingested, which is false to a Dilophosaurus. Oh, interesting. I learned something. Okay. Oh, we'll another long one. Too long didn't read. Fuck off. 6. Okay, I'm kidding. So, Phil Tippett became depressed when he learned that none of the stop motion features he had been developing would. However, shortly after that decision had been made. Oh, um, oh, I, I saw about this in the behind the scenes. Um, so shortly after that decision had been made, the industri- industrial light and magic animes discovered that they did actually have a use for him. While none of his, especially given, while none of his, especially given how much research had put into the. Okay, so while none of his stop motion models would be seen in the movie, his techniques would be. Um, Fuck off. Jesus Christ. Um, his, his techniques were determined to be quite useful in animating the computer generated dinosaurs. Especially, yeah, this was in a behind the scenes scene. So yeah, I know about this. Um, Especially given how much research had been put into the animal movement. Rather than creating a dinosaur motion by using keyframe animation, it was decided to build a stop motion armature for each computer generated dinosaur and manipulate it as they would with stop motion move. These amateurs were specially built for with motion sensors and linked up to the animated dinosaurs using being created on the computer. Thus, the motion of stop motion armature was directly translated to the um, computer generated version of that appears in the final movie. So that's actually very interesting. So what they did, because I did actually watch this in the behind the scenes. So what they actually did um, for the stop motion armature was they fused the armature with the CGI, and they did the movements that way. So it's very interesting stuff. So shortly after Nedry makes his first appearance in the control room, during his argument with Hammond, one can clearly see Jaws playing in a short video window in one of his computer screens. That's actually pretty funny. That movie was, of course, directed by Steven Spielberg and Spielberg's first experience with an animatronic, namely the giant shark. Yeah, so that's actually true. Um, Spielberg did do animatronic for the shark and animatronic for the dinosaurs, so it's actually very interesting. Wow, this is all trivia. Oh, we're gonna Goof. Okay, cool. So, Ford Explorer, the appearance that they were driverless and running on a track. These were driven via remote from rear cargo vehicle. Yeah, which I believe this is a behind the scenes, which was always pulled and pulled closed during to see way to steal TV. Watch a small television feed inside images for work. Yeah. They mentioned this in a goof earlier. The Tyrannosaurus paddock was set was constructed on location and as a studio set. Again, this was behind the scenes. The former was for the daytime scene in which the creature fails to appear, and then the latter was for its nighttime escape in order to accommodate Stan Winston's robotic T-Rex. The set was required a soundstage much bigger than the Universal had to offer, so it was filmed at Warner Brothers studio instead. Yeah, it's something they show in the behind the scenes footage of the special edition of Jurassic Park. So if you've got the special edition of Jurassic Park, you can actually experience that yourself. Audio visual unsynchronized. So when the goat is offered T-Rex, you can hear bleating sound of a sheep opposed to a goat's bleating sound. Okay, to be fair, the different bleating between a sheep and a goat is barely noticeable. So they can actually get away with that. Melia Scotch Mamo did some rewrites in the final script, but remains uncredited. Okay. Highest grossing film of 2013. 1993. Yes, I was right, 1993. Outdid Silver Sweeper, E.T., then biggest box office success in history. Not adjusted for inflation, would hold the record to outperform himself in the yeah, that makes sense. We got a revealing mistake. So surveillance camera shows displayed on the computer's monitors were obviously video clips that were being played back. Disk. Yep, bottom. Huh? Oh, I get it. Okay, interesting. So we're gonna have got two revealing mistakes in a row. So from the control room, Hammond sees Malcolm speaking to him through a surveillance camera apparently mounted on the vehicle. Interior shots of the vehicles, however, show no evidence of the cameras anywhere in the vehicles, particularly the part that Malcolm appears to have been looking at. Early concept of early concept art for the film did show where the cameras would be, but the final design does not appear to. Okay, interesting. Principles of photography finished 12 days ahead of schedule and on budget. Wow, that's impressive. That's actually pretty impressive. While discussing the chaos theory, Malcolm famously flirts with Ellie. After meeting on this movie, the two began a relationship and were engaged for 2 years before breaking up. Goldblum is famous for striking up relationships with stars. So they did that. They did actually have a relationship for about 2 years. Wow, that's funny. Uh, that doesn't surprise me. Goldblum is notorious for that type of thing. So that's actually really funny. Um, the Tim makes a reference to Robert Baker and the dinosaur book. Baker was a technical advisor in this movie, and was the inspiration of the creator, the original. Okay, cool. In the book, the second animal was a Stegosaurus, but to be sick, Jurassic had more Pliocene part. Oh, interesting. Um, so Cretan said that his views on science and genetic engineering were largely expressed by Ian Malcolm. Spielberg saw many parallels to himself in the character Hammond. Fittingly, he cast a fellow filmmaker in the role, who begins his prototype showing a movie in which he also acts. Interesting. So Malcolm is dressed entirely in black. Hammond wears all white. Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of a yin yang kind of thing. Hammond likes order. Um, Malcolm likes chaos. So yeah, you got a little bit of yin yang symbolism there. Very interesting. The producer played Jerry Harding, the character who was out in the field sick to. Oh, it's a cameo. Okay. No portrait though. Oh, the producer. Okay, interesting. So we got a producer cameo. That's funny. That's kind of funny. So Sandra Bullock, Gwyneth Paltrow, Julian Moore, Helen Hunt, Terry Hatcher, Elizabeth Curley, and Sherilyn been tested for the role of Ellie Sattler. So, um, yeah, I know Julianne Moore got the role of Sarah Harding. That's true. So, despite being called Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs only have 15 minutes of screen time. Dinosaurs only had around 15 minutes of screen time. Yeah, that's true. 9 minutes animatronics, 6 minutes of CGI. There's only that means there's only 11% of the film was dedicated to dinosaur scenes. Yeah, that's true. The guest encounter with the second Triceratops ends without any clear explanation as to why the animal is sick. Crichton's original novel and screenplay, however, include an explanation. Interesting. The Stegosaurus / Triceratops lacked suitable teeth for grinding food, so, like birds, would swallow rocks and use them to graze stones. In the digestive tract, these rocks would grind the food. After 6 weeks, the rocks would become too smooth to be useful, and the animal would vegetate. And when finding and eating new rocks to use, the animal would also swallow lilac berries. Oh, so it really was the lilac berries. Oh, so it really was lilac berries. They just regurgitated them instead of shitting them out. Okay, interesting. So Ali was actually correct. It was Luddic. Holy shit. Okay. Gee, thanks. That's a novel spoiler, I guess, but I don't care. So as the story takes place near an island, on an island near Costa Rica, the filmmakers originally considered filming in Costa Rica. This idea was quickly abandoned when they realized that Costa Rica's government would not allow them to build roads to get to their film locations. Oof, that's rough. The sounds made by the Dilophosaurus were a combination of sounds of a hail of monkeys, hawks, rattlesnakes, and swans. Interesting. So the main cry of the velociraptors was a combination of elephants, seal pups, dolphins, and walruses. Yeah, I know about that. The elephant seal sounds were recorded at the um, Marine Mammal Center in Salito, California. A marine mammal hospital that rehabilitates and releases sick and injured seals and line. Okay, yeah, I partly knew about that because of the behind the scenes. I didn't know about the howler monkeys, hawks, rattlesnakes, and swans. So that's very interesting. Sound design is very, very tough, very difficult. Um, Park software was written by Pascal. Program that is clearly visible in one of the close-ups in the Unix system. Graphical interface recognized as a Unix system was experimental silicon graphics file system. Version of Unix system is 0.05 and visible in one of the close-ups. Operating systems shell window program. Yeah, so a little bit of computer trivia here. A shell window is often not a command prompt program is often called a shell window, but sometimes the computers will have a command prompt and a shell window at the same time. Kick your fucking ass. Fuck off. Fuck you. John Hammond created dinosaurs from DNA trapped in amber. He also carried around a cane. Yep. Attenborough's David Attenborough, who has his own collection of animals trapped in amber. This was the focus of Natural World 1983 season 22, episode 12, the Amber Time Machine. Yeah, so if you didn't know, Richard Attenborough and David Attenborough are brothers. Yeah, rest in peace, David's brother. Spielberg wanted the velociraptors to be about 10 feet tall, which was taller than what they were known to be. According to an artist involved in the pre-production, Spielberg requested this change because he was unhappy with the size of what was considered the largest marsupial at the time. Dinosaurus and wanted it to be bigger. Another reason was to make the raptor more menacing. Yep, that's true. During the filming, the paleontologists actually uncovered 10-foot tall specimens of raptors called utahraptors. Spielberg also wanted the dinosaurs to be bird-like, for example, snapping to attention like a chicken. Yeah, that's very true. Chickens do like to step to attention. Because chickens are very jerky animals. That's just it. He wanted the raptors to turn their heads so that they could look behind them and make them look like. And make them look have a scarier appearance. Well, it certainly worked. Spielberg likened the raptor tagging its claw to Morse code for any raptor listening. That is very fascinating. That is very fascinating. Yeah, so that the little toe tap is like Morse code to other raptors. That's absolutely amazing. Got a continuity error here. When Nedry opens the shaving cream to steal the embryos, he tosses the top section of the can aside. When he's finished collecting the embryos, the discarded section is on a shelf in front of him. Oh wow, that's a big error. Um, yep, there's typos in the freezing chamber. I know about that. Dennis bumps the open Jurassic Park gate. The CB antenna on the right, the rear of the Jeep is straight up, yet lights crashes into line the down like a. Yeah, that's true. So with a Jeep, you can't have the antenna straight up. You have to have the antenna bent over and tied down when it's not in use. So that's actually very true. So we've got another continuity error. When Edric gets out of the Jeep in front of the gate, he leaves the door open. When he comes back, it's shut. Ooh, I actually did notice that. Okay, interesting. A large photo of Robert Oppenheimer, one of the scientists who created the atomic bomb, is displayed on his workstation. Okay, I actually missed that. Oh, we've got a revealing mistake. So when Ray Arnold, aka Samuel E. Jackson, uses the Unix command prompt to access the security pack system, he is speaking commands that do not match what he's typing commands. So for example, the first typed command is access security. First command, so the first spoken command is access main program. None of his spoken commands match what. None of his spoken commands match what the commands entered on in the prompt. So, I would put that down to a scripting error, not a prompt error, because so a little bit of I don't know if this is always true, but a little bit of movie trivia here is when they're doing like their scripts and that, they're doing the scripts first, and then they're doing like the scenes later. So what's in the scene will not always match what's in the script, and that's the same for like cartoon animation too. Um, oh, connections. Oh, got something different here. So references to the China syndrome. Close up of um, Waddell's vibrating coffee cup is replicated in the 2 glasses of water in the T-Rex approach. Okay, that's a technique that someone has used before. Interesting. Um, oh, um, uh, I'll deny that. Yeah, I'm going to deny that. That's not really appropriate. Sorry, but yeah, no, that's not really appropriate. Chat, in chat. Um, I'm not going to time out you, but yeah, no, that. I mean, it's not appropriate for a twin. So we got a revealing mistake here. When it Okay, so when the goat leg falls on top of. Oh, yeah, 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 yes, 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 yes. Um, yes, 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 yes. So when the leg is severed, it is cleanly cut as if with a knife. Given that every time, given any other, given every other time we see the T Rex feeds, it is shaking its prey violently like a shark would. The goat, the goat leg would be ravaged and rent, ragged and rent. The fact that the fact that it shook its prey any other time doesn't necessarily mean it would that time. The goat could have been small enough that the T Rex didn't think it was necessary to shake it to death. Well, no, even so, like, yeah, that's still a revealing mistake because here's the thing: we it's still not gonna be a clean cut anyway because when an animal feeds, um, it's not going to be cleanly cut off because the teeth marks are going to be like it's going to be a rugged cut. It's still going to be a rugged cut off the leg. And even then, even if the T Rex doesn't shake the thing to death, um, um, the the goat leg would be still ragged and rent because because it's been bit off, not because it's been cut off with a knife. I hate these fucking bugs. Okay, we got a connection to Return of the Jedi. When the Tyrannosaurus eats the goat, it swallows the carcass, closes its mouth, and returns its head to the side to look at the Nero in the car. The movement of the Tyrannosaurus is almost identical to the movements made by the Rancor after it eats its victim and instead look. Oh yeah, that's true. Huh. Never really made that connection. Um. So continuity. Oh god, continuity error. Okay, so Gennaro runs off, leaves Lex and Tim and Explorer with when the T-Rex appears. Leaves the car door open. We see the same vehicle through the windscreen. Oh, and the doors are closed. Yeah. Yep. Later on, still shuts the door, which attracts it. Oh, yeah, that's true. So the door was open. The next shot, it was closed, and then apparently it was open again. So yeah, that's a big continuity error. Okay. So wait, did Tim close the door twice or what? No, that's just straight up a continuity error. Wow. Um. So before Tim and Lex is in the place where it should be, it's not there. Just a hole with a hole in the plastic interior of the car. Yeah, because Hammond said that the cars don't have any seatbelts to it. So yeah, that's a continuity error. Okay, interesting. Um, so I'm gonna let this stream be a bit longer than what I usually do because I haven't had much time to do streams lately, and I actually missed a whole week of streaming. So yeah, I might let this be a bit longer. Um, so when we go. So when the T-Rex breaks through the fence of its first move, shows it walking in between the two explorers away from the car, um, away from the characters, which would give it no cause to have any interest in the explorers. Um, wait, huh? Let me read that again. So when the T-Rex breaks out of the fence, its first move shows it walking in between the two cars, away from the characters, which would give it no cause to have any interest in explorers. But in the following scene, oh yeah, that's true. Um, okay, so I think I get what this is saying. So let's say Sonic and Tails here are the two cars. So let's say Sonic and Tails here are the two cars. And here's a T-Rex, right? So the error would be that T-Rex is coming in between the two cars, but then in the next shot, the shot a rear was a rear view like that. Go that way. Yeah, the shot was a rear view like that, and the T-Rex was coming up in between the middle part from the fence. So the fence would be about here. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that. Oh God, you're dusty. Jesus. I didn't even notice how dusty it is to terrible. Oh, sorry, Dash. Yeah, it's very interesting. Put that back up there. Interesting. Yeah, I think I did notice that, but like the continuity of it's very weird. It's such a fast scene that you don't even notice it. I kind of want to watch that, see if I'm right. So 1 hour 40 minutes when T Rex breaks out through the fence. Its first move shows it walking in between the two, away from the characters. Really? Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Interesting. So there's no picture there, obviously. But yeah. Um yeah, wow, it is. So yeah, like I said, the two cars are there and it's stepping out, boom, 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 and it roars, but then it's like, oh, there's no interest in the two cars. It would just keep walking. But then the error is that when you see the T Rex again, it's backed up to the fence again after it's roared, and now it's looking at the two cars and has an interest in the characters. Interesting. That's actually a pretty big error. Yeah, screens are black, um, for Prime, because they do the same technique for Netflix. Is if you're streaming or if you're trying to take a screenshot of Netflix or Prime, all you see is a black screen. You're not going to see anything at all. So yeah, very interesting. Um, so when the T Rex roars right by the Jeep door, so that, again, this is again the same scene that I just saw. Timmy does not react to the splitting sound. He's not even looking at the T Rex. The scene is quickly cuts to a close up of him carrying in terror. Oh, so we got an actor error here. Interesting. So continuity. When the T Rex attacks Explorer, the first shot shows the T Rex nudging the door driver's window. Next shot of the T Rex is it letting go of the nudge. Letting go of the nudge much lower down from the door itself. Is that really an error though? That makes sense. Because again, that's more of a animal thing. So what it's saying is it's nudging here. Hang on, see if I'm on screen here. So what that's explaining is it's nudging here on the window, but then in the next shot, it's nudging along here, which to me doesn't sound like a continuity error because it's like that makes sense. You wouldn't be nudging up here. You'd be nudging. It would nudge here first, and then it would, as an animal, it would nudge down here at the door because it's like, oh, there's nothing at the window, so I nudge down here at the door. If that makes sense. Um. So yeah, the goat's leg is gone. Um, so when the T Rex flips over the Explorer, it hits the wall, but the Explorer is moved away from the wall by several feet. Okay, yeah, that's true. Sam Neill, his leg, cutting the flares. He uses to distract the. So, according to Neil, it dropped, burning some of the phosphorus on me and got under my watch. So and took a chunk of my arm out. Jesus. So we had an actual Jesus Christ. So so back in the day they used like real props, like real flares, real stuff like that. Um Nowadays you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to use like practical effects of like actual flares because it's actually really dangerous. And nowadays they give you a fake prop flare or something like that that only has like only has like a sparkler effect and a red smoke. Um, but back in those days, they used actual prop effects. They actually used a real flare. So yeah, very interesting. It's very interesting to be like um how things were back then compared to how things are now. Because yeah, it's stuff like that, like burning from phosphorus on me and under the watch and taking a chunk out of my arm. Um, so he could have actually gone for like actors' rights and gotten money out of that because it's a workforce injury. He could have actually gotten money out of that, so he'd probably got paid out of injury for that. Um, so general trivia. So in the shooting script, it was written that during the Tyrannosaurus escape, Malcolm would simply get out of the SUV and run away, much as Gennaro had done moments before. But in fact, this is how Malcolm behaves in the scenes as written in the book. Um, when time came to film the scene, it was Jeff Goldblum's idea to make his flight more heroic by having him distract the T Rex so that Grant could save the children. Yeah, so in the book, again, I haven't gotten up to this part yet, but yeah, in the book he's just straight up running away like Gennaro, but in the movie he's a bit more hero- he's a bit more heroic and trying to distract the Tyrannosaurus so that the so Grant can save the children, which is very interesting. Um, it's very interesting how movies deviate from like source materials and stuff like that because so for example, there's a lot of deviations in Harry Potter. Um, one of the deviations is that Critcher and Dobby are the only house elves ever seen in the movies. But in actuality, um, and this is the whole reason why Hermione started up Spew, um, which is so it's a club she starts up for a few months in the novel where she's trying to get support for um house elf um work environment, and of course Ron doesn't support her at first, and yeah, there's like Winky, Dobby's actually in Hogwarts working, and there's way more house elf scenes in the novel in Harry Potter novels compared to how they're depicted in the movies. Yeah, it's very interesting. Um, very interesting stuff. Um, references to 1 billion years BC. During the Allosaurus attack on the Shell people, I have not seen this movie. Tumac and several Shell men take cover under a rough wooden shelter covered in palm tree fronds, which the Allosaurus smashes, leaving the men sprawled on the wreckage. This is closely remembers the scene during the first T-Rex attack in Jurassic Park when um, Gennaro hides the palm roofed restroom, which is similarly torn apart by attacking T-Rex, leaving Gennaro exposed and amidst the debris. Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, very interesting. Okay. So we've got a continuity error. When the T-Rex starts to spin the overturned vehicle, the tail lights and brush guards are intact. But after spin, they are damaged, even though they shouldn't be. Huh. Interesting. So another continuity error. When in the T-Rex attack scene, when Grant and Lex are inches from the Rex, they are leaning right against the upside down car. Grant's hat. In the next shot, they're at least a few feet away from. Are in a different. Wait, really? Huh. Interesting. Well, I'm not gonna sit here and check scenes all the fucking time. Fuck off, insect. Um. Yeah, I just read that one. Full-size animatron of the Tyrannosaurus Rex weighed about 13,000 to 15,000 pounds, which in kilograms is a lot. During the shooting of the initial T-Rex attack scenes that took place in a. Oh yes, this was part of the backstage content that I saw. This is on the special edition of the DVD. Soundstage, the latex that covered the T-Rex puppet absorbed a great amount of water, making the T-Rex much heavier. Yeah, this was in the this is in the behind the scenes. So if you've got the Tyrannosaurus special edition, not the. Well, I've got Tyrannosaurus on the brain now. So if you've got Jurassic Park special edition, you can actually check the scene out in the behind the scenes footage because they actually do show this. And the technician worked throughout the night to loaded. Yeah, they actually had blow dryers out on the latex to dry the latex out, and eventually they suspended the platform above the T-Rex out of camera range to keep the water off it during filming. Yeah, so it's very interesting. Yep. Stunt double for Lex. Swinging with Grant. Yep. I wouldn't have noticed that myself, but yeah, that's true. Because you're not gonna have a fucking kid hanging off a adult while they're swinging. That's very true. Oh, got some errors corrected by digital. Some stunt people were made to look like the actors and actresses, and in one scene, an entire Ford Explorer was digitally generated. Really? I did not notice. Huh. So well done. Props. Props to that correction because I did not notice at all. Uh, continuity error. When Nendry realizes that he has lost control of the jeep, he's thrown, turning the steering wheel to the right. But the next shot shows skating. Oh, the left wheel's turned to the left. Wow. Yeah, that's another scene. That's another thing you would not notice. I'll be right back. Okay, never mind. False alarm. God damn it. Okay, so lost control of Jeep. The undamaged ace points up and then left. Huh? Oh! Oh, that's true! I didn't even think. Do you mind? God's sake. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's very true. When Nendry crashes and tries to use the wrench, pull the car out, he unhooks and pulls the line twice. Huh. I did not notice that. So when Nedry slides down the bank, you can see a section of it that has been cut to make a sort of slide for him to go down. It is unlikely to be storm gutter, but plus Dennis manages to slip exactly where it is. I did not notice it, so props. Continuity error. Around an hour in, Nedry pulls after clips and falls down the hill, rushing down around him. It's hardly. Oh, yeah, that's true. There's hardly any water around him. A wire can be seen behind Dilophosaurus. Yeah, that's true. The Dilophosaurus fictionist venom spitting ability and its neck frill becomes so iconic that almost every other appearance of the animal in popular media, yeah, because the Dilophosaurus stuff is very fictionist. very popular media, including many of Dilophosaurus toys feature at least one or both of these aspects. Um, some even leave out the dinosaurs striking double crests, which it is got its name, two-crested lizard. In reality, this spitting ability was only made up by Crichton, while adding the frill was Spielberg's idea. In the late 2000th century, scientists mistakenly thought that Dilophosaurus had weak jaws due to the animal's incomplete, distorted, and badly reconstructed fossil skull. And many books at the time claimed it couldn't have killed prey with its jaws. Crichton based his idea about the venom spitting on these outdated theories, proposing that the Dilophosaurus might have used venom to hunt. This hypothesis also served to demonstrate that real-life dinosaurs could have looked and behaved much differently than what people believed by studying their bones. This idea turned out to be true when many dinosaurs, mainly raptors, were discovered to have had feathers during the 90s and 2000s. In 2020, wow, that's very recent, Dilophosaurus was also given a specific scientific makeover. More detailed studies revealed it had significantly thicker keratin-covered crests filled with air sacs, rather than the thin plate-like crests seen in the film. And robust jaws that would have been perfectly suitable for killing prey, meaning it would not have any need for venom. The Dilophosaurus fictional features are consequences of the dinosaur being not pure-blooded. Frilled lizard's DNA is responsible for the neck frill, and spitting snake's DNA is responsible for the venom. Yep. So, like I said during the commentary, these aren't dinosaurs; they're hybrids. So you can't really think of them as when you're watching like paleontologists reacting to the Jurassic Park dinosaurs, for example, which I've seen a lot of. You can't really treat them as dinosaurs because they're more hybrids. Revealing mistake. So when a Dilophosaurus spits on Nedry the second time, you can see smoke coming in off camera on the left side screen. Smoke is originated from a special effects gun used to fight effects. Yeah, I have noticed that actually. Yeah, used to fight a snake fake venom. Okay. References to Psycho, Tracking Shot, Shaving Cream. Similar shot to Psycho. Famous shower murder attention is called the envelope. Okay, cool. Dylan, Sizemore, so screen texted. Okay, that's when a car falls into the tree, the shot shows lights on top of the car pointing in different directions. Oh yeah, top of the car. Yeah, that's true. I did notice that one. Damn it. Really? Now you want to Okay, alrighty. Where was I? Falls in transfer shots. I read that. Continuity area to country ball should be decided 3 when the ended. However, when Grant walked, there's no there's yet a wall is nowhere inside. Yeah, I know. Oh, Jim Carrey was considered the role of Malcolm. That would have been a very different movie and very un. No offense to Jim Carrey, but that would have been a very un unsuitable, very unsuitable role for Jim Carrey because Carrey, he's a brilliant actor, but he doesn't take roles very seriously. I'm yet to see him in a very serious movie role, and that's concerning to a serious movie like this. Um, so yeah, that's funny. Continuity error. So when Dr. Grant Ant starts climbing into the tree that contains the explorer team trapped, the tree is dripping with water from the rain. Yeah, there's no drops falling down. You see his drip. You see the drops behind him again. Yeah, that's true. Another stage light reflected in the hood of the explorer. It hits the bottom. Okay. Yeah, that's back in those days. It was just can't. It was harder to control that type of thing. So yeah, I get it. Got a revealing mistake. So when Ellie arrives at the T-Rex after Grant interact, Ellie's flashlight beam or flat backdrop where he's clearly painted on. Huh. Whoops. I did not notice that, but yeah. Wow. Huh, interesting. So Malcolm was not included. Huh, interesting. Um, T-Rex footprint that Malcolm looks at after being rescued is not there when the other two went to look for Grant. Oh yeah, that's true. T-Rex occasionally malfunction due to rain. Yeah, this was in the behind the scenes as well. I wish I could filter out some of the behind the scenes stuff, but that's okay. Um, so that's actually a funny bit of trivia. That's actually pretty funny trivia. So the T-Rex would come alive, and at first we didn't know what was happening. So when we realized it was the rain, you'd hear people start screaming. That's very funny. Um, okay, so geology. Uh huh. So next shot is hurrying now is to come rescue. Different. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, because they should be next to the fence still. Yeah, well, that's absolutely a geology error. Not geology, geographic. same thing, I guess. But yeah, yeah, it's very true. I've never noticed that. I've just kind of shrugged it off as a normal part of the scene. But yeah, that's pretty true. Trivia trademark, director trademark. Using a sign with directions or instructions as a joke. Yeah, and that um joke has been used a lot in other media as well. Got a revealing mistake. When the Jeep is being chased by the T Rex, the camera goes right. This phrase is only needed for um, oh, that's true. Like the joke's funny, but yeah, it's just a piece of flat glass. Yeah, that's very true. Wow, I didn't think of that. So when the T Rex starts, camera angle changes from Modone changing gears in the Jeep. Gears that change gears a second to first, not vice versa. Oh, see, I don't know manual, so I would not have picked that up. My grandfather used to try and teach me manual, but it never stuck with me. So yeah, I wouldn't have noticed that. Um, it starts. Oh, I just read that. The novel was published in 1990. However, pre-production of the film began in 1989. Using only Michael Crichton's manuscript, it was widely believed that the book would be a hit. Take it out, so turns out the assumption was. Huh. Wow, that's a big assumption. Jesus Christ. And that would have been a big gamble too, because it's just like, oh, what if the book failed, and then what if the movie failed? Like that's pretty double whammy. Crew and equipment visible. Dr. Grant, Lex, and Tim just climbed up the tree where they'll Brachiosaurus. God, I've got that muted. Yeah, that's getting through. There's a scaffold visible in the background on the left, just behind the. At a later say that they are asleep and it's about to wake up. The net used to hang distant branches and leaves are clipped. Third part of the frame. Almost the entire full ice. And the scaffolding is silhouetted. Wow. Like, if you're really paying attention to this movie, there's a lot of um, errors in that people don't even address and talk about. Wow. Because yeah, I think I watched like the cinema sins of Jurassic Park, and he never addressed any of that shit. Um, Ariana Richards audition consisted of standing in front of the camera and screaming wildly. Um, Spielberg wanted to see how she could show fear. Richards remembers, I heard later on that Stephen had watched a few girls on tape that day, and I was the only one who ended up waking his sleeping wife. I was. Oh, I shouldn't be laughing. Waking his sleeping wife from off the couch, and she came running through the hallway, seeing if the kids were all right. Oh, I shouldn't be laughing, but that's really, really interesting. Oh god. I think that was part of the behind the scenes too. Um, yep, yep. Um, but these are just um considerations. Um, Merchandise shown in the movie are in some part created to be sold with the movie. Yeah, yeah. I would have noticed that. Gift shop clearly visible. Making of Jurassic Park. An actual book in that title offers, but a different. Was the official behind the scenes. Yeah, again, I think that was behind in the behind the scenes of. I believe that was in the special features of the DVD. Got continuity error, enters the cameras eating ice cream. Ceiling fans are working to spot the power being out. Oh, I would not have noticed that. Back with the baby Triceratops, built for a scene where the kid's riding it. Technicians worked on this effort for a year, but the scene was cut. Aww. Yeah, yeah, it was. I agree with Steven Spielberg. It would have ruined the pacing of the movie. So yeah, I can agree with that. Increases general sense of anxiety. Only subconsciously the Triceratops mute moral Muhammad eats ice cream. Also, elements of nausea. Okay, hold on. I kind of want to see this scene again. I kind of want to see this scene again. I'm actually curious. So, oh, oh, okay, interesting. You know, it's weird because I really wish I could show what I'm looking at right now, but Amazon's not going to let me. I I never noticed this. I subconsciously, it's just like I guess I blocked it out of my mind. Actually, you know what? I think I could screenshot this. See if I can screenshot it and show it in a capture. See if I can screenshot this and I'll see if I can show this on stream what it's talking about because I never noticed this. It's gonna let me screenshot it. Nope. Yep. Like I said, the yeah. Like I said, it's not going to let me screenshot it even, which is unfortunate. Um, so Ceratops moral. I need. Let's see. No, fuck. Um, no, it's not going to let me. Is it? Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. No, it's got Jurassic Park. What the fuck? Ugh. Ice creams. Okay, cool, 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 cool. So, nope, that didn't have it. Shit. Yeah, okay, found it. So, yeah, okay, so this is what it's talking about in the back here. There's a moral here that's apparently a reference to the arts of war. I never noticed that. I guess because it's only a few seconds on screen that I just never processed um, this particular image in the back here. So you got the Triceratops head in the back here, and then there's like a bunch of dinosaurs in the back here, and it's just like, holy crap, that is actually terrifying. But holy crap, that is actually terrifying. Like, what the hell? You don't even draw attention to it. The scene doesn't even draw attention to it because it's just a foreground thing. So you only got the scene between Hammond and Ali here. So yeah, you don't even your eyes aren't even drawn to it. But yeah, that's just right there. That's nuts. Okay, enough of that. Now you can't see shit. Yeah. So yeah, oh, oh, yeah, the power's supposed to be off, but the fan's going. Holy shit. Okay. Alright, so okay, good. It's still at where I was at. Yeah, so interviewed for a part of my hold on. Beauty. Yep. Was upset by the fact that the action figure of her character was not produced. Aww. Kenner only made dolls of Grant, Sadler, Madoon, Nedry, Tim, and eventually Malcolm. Aww. That kind of sucks. They never produced a figure of Lex? Aww, that's kind of sad. So before Spielberg decided to use animatronic dinosaurs in stop motion, yeah, I already know about that. Yeah, that's yeah, stop motion. Yeah, already know about that. Um, considered a role. Um, oh, okay. So while supervising post production of this movie, oh yes, I heard about this. So, George Lucas decided that the technology used in the movie was good enough to begin work for the Star Wars prequels. Yeah, and Samuel Jackson was able to make an appearance. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Offered a role. Wow. Okay, so Richard Attenborough's first acting role since 14 years earlier. Jeez. Filming location Utaloa Ranch, 49560 Kamehameha Highway. Wait, is that actually a thing? The Kamehameha Highway? That's funny. Um, I'm kind of surprised I still have a viewer. A scene where Grant, Tim, and Lex meet the herd of Gilliminuses was scheduled to be the last scene shot in. Oh yeah, yes, I know about this. This is also part of the behind the scenes. So Hurricane Inky hit filming for this scene would have been had to be postponed. And then yeah, they had to like rescue all the crew members and all these civilians out of the hurricane and bunker them down in the studio because they had a big shot of the whole in the behind the scenes. You see a shot of everyone huddled up in a giant circular room. It's actually really interesting. Um, oh yeah, this is in behind the scenes too. So to study the movements of the Gillimimus herd, the digital artists were ordered to run along the stretch of road with some obstacles, their hands next to their chest. So they actually had the digital artists run like Gillimimus. Continuity error. That was not in the behind the scenes. I did not know about that. Alan, Timmy, and Lex are running from the Gillimimus herd. Someone to run past them, but the next shot from behind there aren't any in front of them. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't notice that. Um. Oh, that's cute. So Spielberg was worried that computer graphics meant Nintendo type cutting quality. Originally, only wanted the herd of Gillimimus dinosaurs to be computer generated. Upon seeing the Industrial Light and Magic's demo animation of a T Rex chasing a herd of Gallimids across his ranch, he decided to shoot nearly all the dinosaur scenes with. The animation was first uploaded in on a Amiga toaster, rendered for the film by. Huh, interesting. Really Nintendo type cartoon quality. That's pretty funny. Because yeah, back 2003 was. Hang on, I think the N64 predates that, doesn't it? Oh, sure. Now you unlock. God damn it. Um. Oh. Yeah, yeah, I know. Okay, so N64 release date. Oh no, no. So yeah, he would have been worried about. So the N64 was released 3 years after this, so he wasn't worried about those kinds of graphics. He was worried about because back then, so a little bit of Nintendo trivia here, unexpected trivia here. Um, so at around this time, N64 didn't exist yet, so he was worried about the cartoony quality of the Super Nintendo FX, which was um, which was the first time CGI was incorporated into 3D. Um, and the first game for this was Star Fox, not Star Fox 64. It was just called Star Fox 2, Star Fox. And back in those days, again, I didn't actually own a Super Nintendo. My mother did, and so back then, and Super Nintendo was the precursor for computer graphics. So that was mostly 2D animation, with sometimes they had CGI generated 3D, or uh oh, what's it called? Oh, what's it called? Um, fuck it, I don't care. The point is, yeah, Nintendo was the uh prime holder of CGI back in the day, back in 1993. So yeah, that was only Super Nintendo. Oh wait, no, 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 no. At that point in time, it would have been the Commodore 64. Yeah, I just remembered there was the Super Nintendo, and then for a briefest time there was the Commodore 64, which predates the N64, because back then the Commodore 64 um was basically like a computer version of a Nintendo console. Yeah, 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 yeah. Which actually, when was the Commodore 64 released? Commodore. Here we go. Oh, okay. Well, fuck what I'm saying then. The Commodore 64 was released in 1982. So yeah, no, fuck what I'm saying. Uh, Fuck what I'm saying, I guess, because the only reason I say that is because my father had a Commodore 64, so I assumed by the name that it predated N64, but I guess not. Um, So, did SNES come out then? Yeah, I was right the first time. So, at that point in time, 1993 would have been the Super Nintendo's lifespan before the N64. Yeah, okay, cool. So I was right the first time. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so got a revealing mistake here. How long have I been streaming? Jesus Christ, nearly 6 hours. So got a revealing mistake. When T Rex occur, one of them leaps up. It's a T Rex. On top of the. Oh yeah. Yep. I know about this. So if you're paying attention, one of them leaps up towards the T Rex, and the top of the Gillimaster's head disappears into the T Rex's body for a second, like a split second. It's really funny if you can catch it. Um, so for the part where the T Rex catches the Gillimaster and checks it in her mouth, the sound was taken from sound designer great Gary Rystrom's and Jack Russell Terrier shaking a toy with his mouth. Yeah, it did kind of sound like that. Did sound like a Jack Russell Terrier shaking more than a T Rex. Uh, Scene where T Rex comes out of the bushes and eats the Gillimimus was shot on an island of the Ula Ranch. This was the only outdoor scene not filmed by on Kunai due to the hurricane. Yeah, I think I knew about that one. This movie opened 1993, broke box office records in the first weekend with 47 million. It eventually went in on to make more than 900 million worldwide. Wow, that's a lot. How much did Harry Potter make? Like less than that, right? Um, rumors the day it opened. New York Mark walked into the Ziegfeld Theatre to see how it was going. The guy comes out and announces the big line. Ladies and gentlemen, this announces to the big line. Ladies and gentlemen, the 7 o'clock show of Jurassic Park is sold out. And the people go, oh, and he goes, also the 10 o'clock show is sold out. And then they went, oh. And also the Saturday night, the 10 o'clock shows are also sold out. And I was like, I'm not an expert, but this is really good. Wow. So they sold out four nights in a row. Damn. I don't think I've ever heard a movie being sold out that much to this day and age. I mean, so that's kind of nuts to think about. Um, Sadler and Madoon step out of the lodge. Only can be seen putting on headphones for a radio. Looking at the raptor footprints, she does not have them. Yeah, that's a equipment error. Spielberg was in the very early stages of pre-production of the movie ER based on. When he heard about the Jurassic Park book, he subsequently dumped what he was doing to make this movie. Wow. Helped develop into the hit television series. Oh, so wait, ER was supposed to be a movie? Huh. Because my grandmother used to watch ER all the time. Huh, interesting. Grey's Anatomy, ER. Nan used to watch. My grandmother used to watch all of that stuff. Continuity. Ellie makes a break for the maintenance shed, jumps over a log, and the shed can be seen from a distance. She swings from a branch, jumps over same log again. Different takes as the shed is virtually lost in fog effects. Oof. Filming locations. Uh, Billing mistake. Okay. When Grant and the children are sitting in the tree overlooking the brachiosauruses, and again climbing the electric fence. Soles of Grant's boots can be seen, and they're completely clean and free of any muddle. Ooh, yeah, that's nasty. Kim stops climbing down the fence when the light starts to flash, but in the background shots later, she can still be seen. Yeah, that's true. Tim gets struck by electric fence, flies through the air. Why holding him up is still good. Not really. I didn't see it, so yeah. Must have been for a few seconds. That's what I mean. These are like split second um things. So it's just like you're not gonna fucking notice them. Except for some very brief glimpses in the opening scene, the adult velociraptors, often cited as the most memorable dinosaurs in this movie, don't make an on-screen appearance until well over an hour and 43 minutes into the movie. Yeah, that's very true. We're nearly done. Immediately after Sailor's encounter with Velociraptor in the powerhouse, she lunges towards the door, and the door is closed. Close-up shot after that, the door is fully open. Yeah, next shot is closed again. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of errors like that. The shotgun used by Adun and Grant in the movie have the first generation stock option. Yes. I watched a weapons expert take on this. Yeah. There's a video of this on YouTube about this. The first generation shotgun stock was designed so that a spring-loaded stud mounted on the interior of the stock locked into the rear sight. By pulling the stud rearward, it clears the sight and the stock can be unfolded. A balloon can be clearly seen depressing this stud is hunting the velociraptor's one point with his famous clever girl last words. Um, so I kind of want to bring up the image for the franchise Sparrows shotgun, because yeah, the shotgun that they use in the movie is very different to the actual um shotgun used by Muldoon. But yeah, I'm not going to. I've already done that too much. So I got an error here. Position of a shotgun butt seconds before he was attacked is. Yeah, again, this is seconds, so I'm guessing the continuity error is the positioning of the shotgun thing that he put down. So he's got. So as he's folding this, it starts off flat, and um as he's folding it up and around, you've got like, and then this is like the um the stock of it. I'm guessing the position of this is like wrong. That's the butt of the shotgun that he's talking about, and I'm guessing the positioning of that is wrong for the continuity. Oh, okay. So, original idea of Jurassic Park from Crichton's attempt in 1983 was to write a screenplay about a pterodactyl being cloned from an egg. The screenplay and movie never came into fruition. Originally, Crichton's novel was rejected by his people, a group of about 5 or 6 personal acquaintances, who always read his drafts before he sends them off. After several rejections, Crichton finally figured out what was wrong. He had originally intended for the story to be through the eyes of a child who was at the park when the dinosaurs escaped, which his peers felt was too ridiculous, but could not identify with the character. Crichton rewrote the story that it is today, and it became a huge hit. The story also incorporates the um, amusing part Rhinemark elements of Crichton's original screenplay, Westwood, which is 1973. Which, again, I didn't even know Westwood was a thing, so that's cool. Um, so after making this movie, Richards developed a great interest in dinosaurs and assisted Jack Horner, paleontologist advisor for this movie and the inspiration for the character Grant, on an actual dinosaur dig in Montana the following summer. Very interesting. I like that kind of thing. I like I like actors getting inspiration to do things outside of what they would normally do. That's very cool. You don't really see that very often. Where are we? Wow, 6 hours. Jesus. Um, there's a lot of content here to go through. Steven Spielberg oversaw the post production of this movie via video link while in Poland filming Holocaust film Cylinder's List. He later called it one of the hardest times of his life as a filmmaker, and it took such an emotional toll on him that his enthusiasm for this movie had almost waned. Said he needed an hour per day to muster up the comment on digital dinosaurs and answer trivial questions from the special effects crew. Wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, so the Nexon team go into the kitchen to hide from raptors. There are several mats along the floor. Yeah, the mats are gone. Yeah, that makes sense. Equipment visible. Crew member when the Velociraptor was actually a full but generally immobile robot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know about that. I know about the Velociraptors being a robot. Um, the raptors in the kitchen scene was filmed by Joseph. Oh, was filmed on Joseph's ninth birthday. Due to a misunderstanding, Joseph ran into one of the raptors on one of the takes and was injured. Ooh, yikes. Okay, so there was many wires and rigging to control the Velociraptor animatrons in the kitchen stalking scene that the children had to literally step over and around them while the scene was being filmed. The kitchen set was greatly expanded on from the original design to accommodate the Velociraptors. Some reports say that all of the dinosaurs in the kitchen scene were injured. I mean, I could kind of see it, considering um, they looked really good. But yeah, I can kind of see that they were computer. You could kind of tell that they were computer generated. So they didn't look the same. I think they got rid of the kitchen animatronics and just went with generated. Because yeah, I could definitely see that being a thing. Um, so continuity error. After the soup ladle falls on the floor, the kitchen to the other side of the stainless cabinet, which shows a reflection of one of the hanging spoons still moving on side to side. Yeah, the spoon is still. That makes sense. Um, Shining. Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen the Shinings, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I did comment that it was probably a blown eardrum. Oops. Yeah, they fucked that up. So yeah, but when they're evading the Velociraptors, his ear is divided blood and his hair is pretty well styled. Yeah, that's very true, actually. Yeah, I did. I even said it was probably a blown eardrum. See. Um. So crew or equipment visible. Dr. Grant is holding the door shut. Pushes the door almost fully open. You can see a crew member in a white shirt reflecting the glass opposite the door. Oh, that kind of sucks. So the first movie uses DTS, which is now dataset around sound. So dataset is like a contested to Dolby surround sound. Yeah, the scratch on the cheek, it constantly swaps positions. Um, um, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's true. The bullet holes for the glass are incorrect. Because that's the bullet holes would have been those bullet holes would have been handgun shells or handgun bullets. But no, the shot a shotgun is like um it's a spread out effect. A shotgun is more a scatter shot than a bullet. Yeah, because the slug. So what happens is, um, when a slug is fired from a shotgun, it explodes on impact and causes shrapnel to happen. Yeah. So yeah, that's actually wow. I didn't even notice that. When it survives the crawling through, it's usually yes, I did point that one out. Falls to her, she's screaming, but her mouth isn't moving. Okay. Um, oh, that's true. The order of the people going through the hatch is wrong. Because when they come out the outside, he's the first to exit the duct. Wow. The skeleton Bobby was hooked up with pulleys like a giant marionette. Ending Grant was able to man the controls, act as a puppeteer, using the skeleton's head to crush the rappers. Oh, so there was a different. So originally the T Rex wasn't going to be in this scene. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that one. Interesting. So Sailor falls from the T Rex skeleton in lobby. Close up of. Oops. Zooms in for a minute for a close up of the stunt double. Oops. Yeah, that makes sense. When Grant and Stella and X and Tim were running center and the mud pattern, the door of the Jeep is different from the pattern seen before the group boards the helicopter. Oh wow, yeah, okay. Um, in the ending where X saves the day was added, decided when she was the hero of the movie. Yeah, that makes sense. She's the hero of a lot of movies. Um, so the T Rex in Jurassic Park is the same one from Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Order. The T Rexes from Lost World are completely different T Rexes. And then the T Rex from Jurassic Park 3 is a completely different T Rex. I don't know which T Rex that is. It might be just exclusive to Jurassic Park 3. But the T Rex from Jurassic Park 1 is Rexy. We nickname her Rexy. The parents from Jurassic Park 2 aren't dead, I believe. Actually, it might be the father of that pair that died in Jurassic Park 3. Um, yeah, that would make sense. Because in Oh, hey, Nafi. In Jurassic Park 3, one of the T Rexes dies, and Alan says that he's never been on this island. He's been on Isla Nublar, and the island they land on is Isla Sorna, so which is the setting for Jurassic Park 2. So the T Rex there would be the father, because in Camp Cretaceous, the mother and daughter are still alive, but the father's gone. The father's dead. So yeah, that answers that question. But then Jurassic World has Rexy back, and then Fallen Order, and I assume Dominion has Rexy and those as well. And then Isla Sorna dinosaurs are completely retcon until you get to like um, uh, Camp Camp Cretaceous, where they make a return. But yeah, so interesting. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, Rexy has been the hero of a lot of movies, a lot of the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies. You can tell when it's Rexy because she still has all the same scars that she had from this movie, and they carry over the scars into other movies. This is very interesting, very nice attention to detail, and yeah. So, oh god, it's currently 2 a.m. Um, I'm nearly done with this, so I might as well just finish it off. And yeah, I'll end the screen. I'll end the stream on this. Um, I've been streaming for over 6 hours. So, and it's 2 a.m. So I should be asleep soon. So another audiovisual unsync is the T-Rex scene. Um, and I think I have actually noticed this one. A T-Rex throws a Velociraptor into the T-Rex skeleton, but the sound for the raptor hitting the skeleton is late. So the the um, the Velociraptor smacks into the skeleton, but the actual noise of the um, the impact of the skeleton doesn't actually trigger until after it's, and then it just goes crack after the Velociraptor is already gone into it. So yeah, it's a very late. Um, it it's barely noticeable, but it's a very late pack noise. So any shot of a full dinosaur is computer generated, but the best, but shots of the parts of the dinosaurs were animatronics. Okay, yeah, I thought so because they looked good. Yeah, I thought the full dinosaurs looked computer generated, but then like the shots of parts of dinosaurs was animatronics. It's very interesting. Um, when they leave the compound at the end, Grant jumps in the passenger side of the Hammer drives away. When they reach the helicopter, Grant gets out of the driver's side, and Hammer, Stella, and kids are all shown and walk twice the tree, as if they were rode on the outside. Weird. I never noticed that. But yeah, you're right. It's right. Grant jumps in the passenger side, and Hammond drives away. But when they are arriving at the helicopters, yeah, Grant gets out of the helicopter side, driver's side. Yeah, it's true. And then Sadler and kids are already walking towards the jeep from behind it, as if they rode in another one. Yeah, that's very true. Wow. Later in the movie, as one of the jeeps pull up right before they get out, the camera zooms in on the jeep door. Jurassic Park logo is on the door, but covered in mud. So that only the words can be read as Jurassic Park. That's pretty funny. Yeah, perhaps a joke too about many of the characters getting hurt or killed in the movie. Yeah. Um, with every new draft of the script, there was a different set of survivors and a different set of characters dying. At various points of the pre-production, Hammond, Malcolm, and were going to die. And okay, interesting. Blew the crew off when they were in the production. He played Jock, the pilot who flew. Yeah, okay, that does. Oh, and that's it. Cool. In the original script, Gennaro and Malcolm were combined into one character. Madoon survived in the end. In the book, Gennaro and Madoon survived. Hammond and Malcolm died. So Malcolm returned to the past world. Excellent work. Oh, okay. So kind of a continuity error in the book then. Oh, okay, cool. So when it says a Steven Spielberg film at the end of the movie, listen closely. You will hear the slightly modified five tones of the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Huh, interesting. Okay, well that is it for this. Yeah, that is it for this. This is my longest stream. I'm not even gonna lie. This is my longest stream. This is very fun. I'm actually really glad I did this. Learning all that trivia, was a lot of fun. Reading through it. Yeah. Um, giving some factoids about um in general. That this was very fun. I might do the other films as well like this. 'Cause, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I might. No, I can't do that. I was gonna say I might do the watch parties with the factoids coming up, but I can't. Because yeah, um, there's no way on Amazon Prime to say, "Oh, would you like the factoids to be appearing as the movie's progressing?" But yeah, no, that's not a thing, unfortunately. Um, yeah, that'll be it for the stream. See you guys in another one.